Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for being here today to say thank you to the residents of Kansas City. I know that Councilman Glover is on his way, and hopefully he'll be here by the time I finish to make a few comments as well. But almost 1 year ago to the day, we asked residents in Kansas City to eliminate and streamline several fees and taxes and replace them with a 1/2 cent sales tax for parks. One additional goal in all of that was to create a dedicated street maintenance fund. We had heard from our residents time and time again through our citizen satisfaction survey that the condition of our streets and roads was of prime concern to them. We asked the residents to help us address that issue, and they said yes overwhelmingly. In fact, residents in every single part of the city voted overwhelmingly in favor of our investing in our infrastructure. Kansas Cityans said in one voice, this is a priority and we're willing to pay for it. And trust me, there aren't a whole lot of things that we in Kansas City all agree on all the time. So that was a momentous occasion for us. Prior to the vote last August, we were repaving about 30 lane miles, 30 miles of road every year. Since last August, we've already repaved 180 miles. So let me say that again. That's 180 miles compared to 30. It gets better. We expect to get over 220 lane miles resurfaced by the end of this year. By the end of the year, we expect to spend over 6 times as much this year on road maintenance as we did last year. I was asked this weekend what I was going to be doing this week, and I was told them I was going to be thanking residents for helping us repave roads. And somebody, I think it might have been my daughter, said, seriously, how boring. And to many people, pavement and talking about pavement is boring until you hit a pothole, and then it becomes a problem. Your suspension gets out of whack, you have to go talk to your mechanic and maybe spend some money. The city's infrastructure affects every single person that lives in this city and every single neighborhood. And it affects them whether they realize it every moment or not. And with our resurfacing efforts, we're going to reach every part of the city, north, south, east, and west, because infrastructure is a citywide issue and has to be addressed on a citywide basis. Now, beside me here, I believe you'll see that map. And you'll see the orange parts of that map. And the orange highlights represent areas of focus for street maintenance and repair. I have a packet of material here in my book, small type, but it sets out every place where streets are going to be or have been addressed. We asked all the residents to approve question 1, and they did. Now we're making sure that all those residents actually see what they're getting for their investment. Today's location is just one example of that. I consider maintaining and repairing our infrastructure as a critical component for a city building. We have to keep current residents happy, and we need to attract new ones. No one wants to live in or drive on pothole-infected roads, and no one wants to have crumbling infrastructure. Everyone should have the opportunity to be mobile within our city, and that's one of the reasons why you'll see that as we repave streets and roads where there are not adequate and appropriate curb cuts for the circumstances that we're putting them in. And that's why we are putting ramps in, is because we need to comply with the ADA and a mandate from the federal government to make sure that that's taken care of. And as we plan for the future, we also have to remember to be environmentally sustainable. The asphalt used to resurface our roadways is made of recycled materials. 30% of those materials are used in the asphalt that you're looking at today. And it's also laid elsewhere in the city as well. It comes from from crews cold milling old asphalt off of roads. All of that is possible because the residents of this city approved question 1. So as a way of saying thank you to all of those residents and to highlight the work of the staff whose job it is to accomplish this goal, we want to make sure that they see a unique message saying thank you applied to the surfaces of the resurfaced roads. And that's what you're looking at. When people see this, then they'll know that we're very much aware of the fact that they're the ones who are responsible for allowing us to do this and for providing us with the resources necessary to accomplish one of the things that always shows up in the top 5 of their citizen satisfaction survey, and that is take better care of our roads and streets. The one here is put on with a chalk-like type of material. It'll be here about a week or until the first rain, and then it'll wash away. But as people are driving around town and they see this on the street, then they'll know that we're thanking them for their vote last August to make question number 1 a reality. I think it actually looks pretty frosty, but let me tell you one thing that isn't, and that is the work that our public works crews do all the time, laying asphalt out in this hot summer sun, and people here are hot now. Imagine if you're putting hot asphalt down on the street, how much hotter you'd be. Our public works employees do that every single day. Troy and I had the opportunity to go out and do some work with them in the last month or so on a cleanup operation. And I can tell you that they worked about as hard as any group of people I've ever seen work. Have a great deal of respect for them. They're some hard-working people, but when you see them out doing their work, blow a horn at them. Say thanks for them for what they do for this city. I want to thank you for your attention today. It's important that Kansas Cityans actually see what our commitment is to them. We told them what we were going to do. Now we're showing them exactly where we want to do it. It's on this map. It's in the list. It's on the ground. You can see it with your own eyes, and you'll see this all over town when things are being done, and you'll know that we are putting the tax dollars we've been authorized to spend to work doing exactly what we said they were going to do, and that's repaving the roads and streets of this city as fast as we possibly can. So I want to thank you for being here. Councilman Glover is not here, but I know he wanted to say a few words. I will tell you in his absence that Councilman Glover was instrumental in helping to formulate the street maintenance plan. He came up with some ideas that we incorporated. We talked about them, and as a council, and as we often do, we worked to collaborate and to refine those ideas into something that we thought made sense. This is a result of not only the basic idea, but also the collaboration of council to make sure that this gets done. I also want to thank our city manager, because without him and his efficiency and understanding of how to get things done, none of this would happen. And to our public works people, and Sherry, thank you for everything that you do. Mark, thanks for using that money that you got as a result of this vote to the best possible uses. And because of what these people do and their jobs for this city, we're a better city, and we're on the way to being best. So with that being said, I'll stop, and if I have any questions, I'll try to answer a few.
Mayor, can you talk about the significance of why you're thanking residents here at this location?
Absolutely. The significance is that this is a Northland location, and oftentimes in the city we have the sense that we're not doing something someplace or someplace else. What we really want to make sure that everybody understands is that we care about every single area of this city. And so you can go east or west or south or north, and you'll see similar things happening there. And I think this map visually demonstrates the work that's going on in all parts of the city. But we did it here because we always want to make sure that we're thanking our Northland residents for their support and help in doing this, and to make sure that they understand that despite the fact that sometimes there's a river between us, we cross that river all the time to make sure that everybody is getting as much as we can possibly give in return for their help, support, and trust in giving us the money from the August vote last year.
What's the difference in the funding that was available before versus for streets?
The funding previously was about $3 or $4 or $5 million. This year it's about $19 million, and with that $19 million we're able to do a lot more, and obviously able to do a lot more. There's never been $19 million spent on roads resurfacing in this city in any given year. That's a tribute to the council, to Troy, and to Sherry to make that happen.
You know what the previous max that was spent?
I do not have that number. Maybe Troy does. Troy, what do you think was the most money ever spent before in a single?
We got the $16 million about 10 years ago.
Did you hear that, Lynn? Okay.
And we got there once.
One time. We're hoping to sustain this over and over and over again. and thereby make some real progress in this effort.